back again with the remaining part of the story, George's Secret Key to the Universe. So far, I was discussing with you all. I remember we have ended the last class with the oath that probably George has taken. What was the oath? I swear to use my scientific knowledge for the good of humanity. I promise never to harm any person in my search for enlightenment. I shall be courageous and careful in my quest for greater knowledge about the mysteries that surrounds us. I shall not use scientific knowledge for my own personal gain or give it to those who seek to destroy the wonderful planet on which we live. If I break this oath, may the beauty and wonder of the universe forever remain hidden from me. So this was the oath that George took. Okay, so after he took the oath, Eric clapped and he pressed an empty crisp packet. Cosmos flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. So far we have studied this much, and this was a line where I ended the last session, the last topic. Okay, so colors across his screen. Okay, so these are the possible ways to which they showed their emotions. Okay, after George took that particular oath, Eric clapped and he brushed an empty crisp packet, and Cosmos flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. Well done, George, said Eric. Cosmos will now show us how a star is born. So this is how the conversation after the oath starts, and our class also starts from here. So please pay attention. Well done, George, said Eric. Cosmos will now show us how a star is born. So now what Cosmos will show George? How a star is born. So if you are listening to me, please mark it. This line is important. And the above line, Eric clapped and he burst an empty crisp packet, flashed a rainbow of bright colors across his screen. So this entire sentence is important, and this is also important. If you are listening, please mark it with a pencil. Okay, Cosmos will now show us how a star is born. Okay, so what will Cosmos show us? Cosmos will show us how a star is born. So this line is also important, please mark it. Okay, next, welcome, said Cosmos, playing a little computerized fanfare to the universe. The room was getting darker and darker. Playing a little computerized fanfare. Fanfare means a loud, short piece of music played to introduce someone important. Okay, I repeat. Playing a little computerized fanfare means a loud, short piece of music played to introduce someone important. Okay, so this is how they welcomed George, okay, to the universe. The room was getting darker and darker. Why was the room getting darker? Because they were about to show him how a star is born, and in order to show such things you have to have a darker atmosphere. So the room was getting darker and darker. Come and sit here, George, said Annie, who had already settled herself on the big comfy sofa. What is this? Excuse me. What is the meaning of comfy? Comfortable. So now what Cosmos says, come and sit here, George, said Annie. No, sorry, this Annie says, now the girl, Eric's daughter says this to George, come and sit here, who have already settled herself on the big sofa. The comfy here, the short form of comfortable, which means comfy. So nowadays we use the short forms, we don't use the bigger versions the proper way. We preferably try to use the shorter form. So comfy is a shorter version of comfortable. Okay, George sat down next to her, and after a few seconds he saw a tiny beam of very bright white light. It came directly from Cosmos' screen. The beam shot out into the middle of the room, where it waved for a second before it began to sketch a shape in the air. Okay, so now what happens? George sat down next to her. Her here refers to Annie. And after a few seconds, what did he find? He saw a little tiny beam of very bright white light. It came from where did it come? It came from the cosmos screen. The beam shot out into the middle of the room, where it wavered for a second before it began to sketch a shape in the air. But that looks like. George began to speak. A window, said Eric proudly. Cosmos has made us a window on the universe. Watch closely. So this is important, a window. Okay, so what did Eric say proudly? Cosmos has given us a window to the on the universe. Okay, so in order to watch the universe, you can use the window. Through the window, we can watch the universe closely. The beam of light disappeared, leaving the window it had drawn in the middle of Eric's sitting room, hanging in middle air. It now looked exactly like a real window. It had a big sheet of glass in the pane and a metal frame. Beyond it there was a view, and that view was not Eric's house, or of any house, road or town or anything or anywhere else that Georges had ever seen before. So now, as you can see, there is a window in the picture. You can see there is a window. Okay, a window is created and they are sitting on the sofa. The picture shows that. Look into the picture below. The picture will tell you that there is a window created, and through the window they are looking at it. Okay, to the universe, and the appearance, okay, was not somewhat very similar that you have seen probably of someone's houses, town or city. The view, the entire scenario was completely different. Okay, it was a new experience altogether to everyone, especially to George. Okay, so he was literally enjoying the entire thing. Okay, instead, through the window, George could see an incredible vast darkness peeped with what looked tiny little bright stars. He started to try and count them. So from the picture you can see there are tiny stars. Okay, from the picture you can see there are tiny stars which he could see from the window. Okay, bright stars. He stared to try and count them. And what did he try to do? He started to try and count them. So this line is important. After looking through the window, what did he do? He started to try and count them. This is important line. George said, Cosmos, in his mechanical voice, there are billions and billions of stars in the universe. So what did Cosmos say in a mechanical voice to George? This is again important. After he started counting their stars, he said there are billions and billions of stars in the universe. Okay. New stars are called all the time. New stars are created all the time. They are born in giant clouds of dust and gas. I am going to show you how it happens. So what did Cosmos say? New stars are created all the time. They are born in giant clouds of dust and gas. And I am going to show you how the stars are born. They are born out of clouds of dust and gas. How long does it take for a star to be born? George asks. Now George is full of questions. He is asking that how long does it take for a star to be born? 10 of millions of years, replied Cosmos. I hope you are not in a hurry. Okay, so 10 of millions of years. So it takes millions of years, tens of millions of years. Okay, so this is the time period that is required for a star to be born. Okay, toot toot, said Eric, sitting cross-legged on the floor beside the sofa. Don't worry, George. I have speeded it up quite a lot. You will still get home for dinner. So now he said that, okay, I have speeded up. You don't worry. You will get to see quickly, and you will get your time to have dinner for home. George noticed something about the view through the window onto outer space. Not all of it was covered with little stars. In the bottom corner of the window, he saw a patch of total darkness, a place where not a single star shone. Okay, so he saw through the window, the scenario was completely different. Okay, it was not that the entire universe was covered with stars. In the bottom corner of the window, what he found is that he saw a patch of total darkness. Okay, there was no star, there was not a single star that was shining at the bottom corner of the window. What's happening there? He pointed. Let's have a look, shall we? Said Eric. He pressed a button on a remote control and to view the window seemed to zoom towards the dark patch. As he got closer, George realized that an enormous cloud was hovering in that spot. The window kept moving forward until they were right inside the cloud itself, and George could see it was made of gas and dust, just as Cosmos had said. Okay, so now they have zoomed in and they have experienced that the darker patches was nothing but this dark cloud inside, and it was made of gas and dust, just like Cosmos had said to him. Okay, so this was the experience. Okay, what is it, he asked, and where is it? It's a huge cloud in outer space, much bigger than the ones in the sky, replied Eric. So what did Eric say? It's a huge cloud. Okay, so it's a huge cloud in outer space, much bigger than the ones in the sky. So the in the sky we all know that we can find clouds, but this kind of cloud is much bigger and it is in the outer space, outside the space. It's a bigger one, and it is not of the original shape that we get to see in the sky. The cloud shape was much bigger, made up of tiny little particles which are all floating around inside it. There is so many of these particles that the cloud is enormous. It's so big that you could pull millions and billions of earth inside it. From this cloud many stars will be born. Okay, so from this particular stars, as you see, this cloud was very big, and he was saying that Eric said that from this particular cloud many stars will be born. Okay, so from this cloud many stars will be born. So read this particular paragraph, this is important. You might get to know and learn many things from this, from your geography also. This is basically a geographical chapter related to constellations, cosmos, universe, stars, and all that, gas and earth, and all these things. So it's an interesting one. You will enjoy it, I hope so. Inside the cloud, George could see the particles moving around, some joining together to form huge lumps of matter. These great lumps spun around and around, gathering even more particles all the time. But as the particles joined together, the spinning lumps aren't getting bigger. Instead, they seem to be getting smaller, as though something was squeezing them. It looked like someone was making gigantic tough balls in outer space. Okay, so instead of becoming bigger ones, it was it gave a feeling that somebody was squeezing them, making it smaller. Okay, the gigantic tufts of outer space. One of these giant balls was quite close to the window now, and George could see it spinning round, getting smaller and smaller all the time. Those gigantic rounds were getting smaller and smaller all the time. As it shrank, it became hotter and hotter and hot that George could feel the heat from where he sat on the sofa. And while sitting on the sofa, George could feel the heat of it, because it was made of hot gas burning, and he could feel the heat from sitting on the sofa. And then it started to glow with a dim but frightening light. That ball started to glow also. It was burning, it was hot, and it was glowing also. Why is it glowing? Asked George. The more it shrinks, said Eric, the hotter it gets. The more it shrinks. Shrinking means getting smaller. Shrinking means getting smaller. The more it shrinks, said Eric, the hotter it gets. The hotter it gets, the brighter it shines. Very soon it's going to get too hot. Okay. So this entire line is very important. So it says that the more it shrinks, it gets hotter, and the more hotter it gets, the brighter it shines. Okay, so very soon it's going to get too hot. The ball exploded from the inside, throwing off its outer layers of burning hot gas in all directions. After the explosion, the ball was shining like the sun. Whoa, said George. Is that the sun? It could be, Eric replied. That's how stars are born, and the sun is a star. When a huge amount of gas and dust combines and shrinks to become dense and hot, As we have just seen, the particles in the middle of the ball are so pressed together they start up to fuse or join up, releasing a huge, enormous amount of energy. This is called a nuclear fusion reaction. So this entire paragraph is important. What do you mean by nuclear fusion reaction? Okay, so it is explained very nicely here in this paragraph. So if you are listening, please mark the entire paragraph. Okay. The ball exploded when a huge amount of gas from here when a huge amount of gas and dust combines from here to nuclear fusion. The definition is given. Okay, it is so powerful that when it starts, it throws off the outer layers of the ball, and the rest is transformed into a star. That's what you saw. The star was now shining steadily in the distance. It was a beautiful sight. George gazed at it, amazed by its power. Every now and then it could see huge jets of brightly shining gases sent hundreds of thousands of miles from the surface at extraordinary speeds. And the stars will keep on shining like this forever, he said. Nothing is forever, George, said Eric. Okay, so it will come and go. This is how the stars are formed. Okay, so the entire process is described here. If we have talked about the nuclear fusion reaction, from the definition of nuclear fusion reaction is also given. From here you have to write, when a huge amount of gas and dust combines and shrinks to become dense and hot, to nuclear reaction. The definition is there, and Eric says that nothing is forever, George. This is how he concludes the story. I hope you all have enjoyed reading this story. This is basically a geographical story. If you have studied geography, if you have studied universe, you will enjoy this story. Otherwise, you will find it bit difficult. Okay, and we all know who was Stephen Hawking. He was a great scientist, though he was paralyzed, but his works are extraordinary, mind blowing. We all enjoy reading his works. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you have understood the story well. If you have any doubt, please ask me. Thank you.